For Jan Potgieter Associates, I'm Chad Ketcher here with 7-year NFL pro Shawn Harper, business owner. He's got some insights for us about how to bring the professional athlete mindset to the business community. Shawn, let's start off. Tell us a little bit about your NFL career and what you've done since then.
Well, you know what? I was blessed to play 7 years professional football with the Rams, with the Colts. I've had a short stint with Houston when they were in Houston many years ago. Played over in NFL Europe for 3 seasons. Great time over there. Just learned the game from a whole new perspective. Blocked for some great guys over there as well. In fact, Kurt Warner was my left tackle. Was my quarterback. I was his left tackle over there my last season over there. And man, I've had a wonderful time playing and a wonderful opportunity.
When you left the NFL, you started the company. Tell me a little bit about that transition and how you got that company started.
So I officially retired in the year 2000. I had a partner, which is my brother-in-law, and he was married, of course, to my sister. And we ran a security firm for a few years. And then one day, I get a message that they're moving to North Carolina. And I'm like, what is going on? See, at that point, I had ownership, but I was like a silent owner because I traveled a lot. And so now I'm stuck with a security firm. I have no business skills, no business savvy, no formal business educational knowledge. And so I'm thinking, how do I run a security firm with the potential of making millions of dollars? And through trial and error, I reverted back to what I learned when I was playing football. And I converted our entire office, the culture and everything, to that of a collegiate or professional football team. And that's how we were able to take what's from the business world into the corporate world and blow the numbers through the roof.
Tell me about the results you got from that transformation.
Well, within a few years, we were $1 million company. A few years after that, we were a multi-million-dollar company, and the numbers speak for themselves. And I just love the opportunity. I love the culture. I love the hard work. I love the dedication, and I love what we and who we attracted. That's most important, because the people drive the culture, and the people drive the business.
So, coming from the NFL and into the business arena, there were some parallels. There were some mindsets that you saw that made you successful in both. Tell us about the mindsets that work in both environments, that make you successful in both environments.
Well, what makes you successful in both environments is numbers. Numbers tell the story. In the corporate world, your numbers have to match up. You have to make your numbers. You have to meet the expectations or beat the expectations. And if you have a small business, you have to have numbers to at least make payroll, to make a profit, to stay in business. In the NFL, numbers run the game. A team wants to make $3 to $4 billion a year. They're watching numbers. Every player they draft, there's a number associated. Every time you purchase a Coke in the stadium, there's a number associated with that. If you're watching TV or you're watching the game or you're not watching the game, there's a number associated to that. So the correlation, it still comes down, at the end of the day, it comes down to numbers.
When you were an athlete, what was and you still are an athlete, I don't want to mess with that. When you were playing professional sports,
sure.
What is the mindset that goes into winning, and how important is that mindset for winning?
See, I like the fact that you mentioned the word winning, because when you play sports, that's what it's all about. It's very simple. The first day of camp, the head coach walks into the room and he writes down the expectation. We are going to the Super Bowl, period. And then he walks back everything from that moment. When we have a breakout meeting, the coordinators, they echo, we are going to the Super Bowl. And it starts with this, and it starts with that. And here's the strategy, and here's the techniques, and here's the plan. Now we break it down even further, the individual games. And from there we break it down to even further to individual practices. Then we break it down to even further to individual plays. So when we go play a game, we are focused on winning, but our heart is on the play that's at hand. And the next play, and the next play. If you do enough great or have enough great plays, then you get a first down. And even more plays, you get a touchdown. And you get enough touchdowns, you'll win the game. And you win enough games, you'll win the Super Bowl. And that's our mindset, is that we have one eye on where we're going, but the other eye is focused on where we're at and how we're going to win this individual battle.
Successful teams are not always the ones that people think they are. A lot of people think that a team goes to a Super Bowl because they have an outstanding wide receiver, or they've got a general at quarterback, or because they've got some standout showboating player who brings the team to that place. Answer that.
Those days are over. The difference between an average and a great receiver is minuscule now. These guys are professionals. These guys are amazing at what they do. They are pros at their craft. It's maybe millimeters or seconds compared. No. It's systems. It's ideologies. It's culture. It's philosophies. That is what wins the game in the third and fourth quarter. Look at the New England Patriots. They have a great system. They have a great culture. And if you don't fit the culture, you're no longer on the team. Because that culture, that atmosphere, that locker room, I've seen situations where they have removed players because they didn't fit the culture anymore, or they were countercultural. That is everything. It's the culture. It's the atmosphere that drives wins now.
Bring that language to the business world.
Well, simple. You have an office. You have maybe 200 or 300 people, and we're all moving in one direction. And then there's people who are constantly sabotaging or causing dissension or gossiping or trying to destroy the morale of the business. You have to extract that individual out of the organization. You have to at first see if you can help them. If not, they have to go. And that's one of the differences that I've seen coming from the NFL to corporate America. That was amazing for me. I didn't have any business experience. And so when I'm visiting other corporations and talking to people and talking to other CEOs and executives, and they're like, well, we have a problem with this executive, or we have a problem here. And I'm like, well, what are you doing about that? Well, we think we could, I say, no. You have to be decisive. You have to move quick. You have to move now. In the NFL, one of the taglines for the NFL is not for long. Okay? And this is no lie. We would have a game on Sunday. We would watch film on Monday. We have Tuesday off, and then we practice on Wednesday. Monday afternoon, there's 6 or 7 guys being flown in from all over the country trying to take your spot. Whether you had a good game or not, they're working other players out to potentially take your spot. And there's been times when you've walked in and you've seen a pink slip, says, coach wants to see you, bring your playbook. You're gone. It is that competitive. And if you are not working for the team, if you're not pushing your energy and creating synergy for the win, then you're working against the win. And we don't have time for people who are working against the win. And that same philosophy and mindset I did not see in corporate America. That because I believe that they're working on what's called success and not winning, and they're two different things.
Tell me about the difference between success and winning, especially on the corporate side.
What I found is that success can be a dirty word. And the reason why is because there's loose interpretations on what success is. So let's just say that Department A didn't make their numbers, but Department B made their numbers. Well, Department B is having cake and ice cream, Department A is having layoffs. With a winner's mindset, it's greater than all the departments. The win is greater than the offensive line. The win is greater than the quarterback. The win is greater than the receivers. The win is greater than the running back. You've never, ever seen an interview on ESPN or some other sports channel where the individual running back had an amazing game and he lost, or the team lost. You've never heard him say, you know what, I did good though. I had a great game. You never hear that. He always focuses on the win. And so in corporate America, what we need to do is to elevate the win above all other expectations and have us to focus on that. And what happens when you do that is that now it forces people to, if I could use the word, cross-support one another. Because my success is not good enough if there's no win. That forces teamwork. That forces integration. Because guess what? At the end of the day, if that is an L, we all lose. We're all in this together. It brings a lot of things to perspective. Success doesn't do that. And I don't like to use that word success, because another reason is because it's not static. It's always moving around. A win is a win, an L is an L.
When you walk into a corporate situation and they're siloed, and by that I mean marketing doesn't talk to sales, sales doesn't talk to accounting, accounting has their numbers but they don't deal with logistics, or they don't deal with executives. When everybody's playing in their own sandbox and they're not communicating, how do you bring that transformation?
You bring that transformation by creating transformation in the leadership. And the leadership's job is to tear down the walls and eliminate the gray. And one of the things that I would do, and that I have done, is that I would pull somebody from sales and put them in marketing for the day. Say, you need to feel what they feel. You need to understand what they're going through. You need to see how your sales, or the lack of your sales, is driving or not driving marketing. In marketing, you need to understand the result of customer care, because you picked up that contract and you knew it wasn't the right contract to pick up. But now customer care has all these issues. Why? Because you went after that because you were concerned about your numbers and not your win. So a job as a leader, I believe, one of the jobs is to eliminate the gray. Get the gray out of your office. Everyone needs to understand, everyone needs to feel. Everyone needs to be able to empathize and sympathize with other departments. And whatever you have to do to create that. I was an offensive lineman. Offensive lineman, we have our own little world. No one sees what happens in the offensive line. No one talks about what's going on in the offensive line. However, we were interconnected to every other position on that field, and we all understood the importance of the win. And that is what a leader has to do, is to convey that your success at the expense of another department is a failure. We all work together.
Let's take it to the individual contributor. You are getting ready to go out onto the field. How have you been preparing yourself mentally to go into the game situation, and how did you take that thinking process into corporate America?
Every day, to me, every day is a different play. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. Some of the best players mess up. Some of the best quarterbacks throw interceptions. Some of the best receivers drop a ball. But notice what the best ones do, is that they have short memories. The ball is dropped, let's go on to the next play. Hey, I have a one-hand catch touchdown, great, let's go to the next play. Never let tomorrow carry over to the day. And that is one thing that I've done and that I have infused in my leadership as well, is that what happened tomorrow, good or bad, or yesterday, good or bad, that's yesterday. This is a different day, a different slate. Only thing we have to do, okay, is that we got to get that much better or this much better every day. If we get this much better every day, over the course of a year, it turns into this much. That's what we focus on. Our goal is not perfection. Our goal is continual, relentless practice and dedication to the win.
So what are the characteristics of a champion in sports that transfer over to the business environment?
Being able to push against the grain. Being able to have an insane work ethic and work in the midst and through resistance is one of the things that defines a great executive that I've seen. In fact, it's funny, Forbes magazine says, I guess it was Forbes, that 90% of all Fortune 500 CEOs are former collegiate athletes.
Really?
Yes.
What does that bring to the table for them?
Well, what it brings to the table is, to me, it says is that they are bringing the win to the table and they're disguising it. Or they've locked on to what business is really about. Business is really about winning. The numbers, large corporations, you have quarterlies. Those are wins. Either you make your numbers or you miss your numbers. When you have expectations, either you accomplished it or you didn't accomplish it. Period. Either you win or you lose. And if you lose enough, you're out of a job. That is what business is about. What pains me is that somewhere down the line, whether it's management, middle management, we take the win out and return it to success. And now the employees are working on one level while the executives are working on another, a win level.
What does a coach do to bring out the best in a player, and how can an executive use that same, is there a methodology that will work in the corporate world from that?
A lot has to do with the individual. I think you've stumbled upon your own answer and not realizing it. Coach. In the business world, managers and executives, we're too busy being managers and executives instead of being a coach. You know what a good coach does? That he gets behind you and he pushes you. He pushes you. He antagonizes you. He takes you to the next level. He encourages you in one hand. He has a stick in another hand. And he drives you. He's like, let's move. Let's go. Let's grow. Think about this. Some of the most insane, powerful athletes in the world are under the authority of a coach. Not an executive, not a leader, a coach. Let's go. You know what you're supposed to do, get it done. Let's get to the next level. You know what? You think you did a good job? You did a mediocre job. Turn up the heat. Do it. They'll appreciate it if they know that you care about them, that you respect them, and that you value them.
You go into a lot of different corporate environments as a speaker. Some might call you a motivational speaker, but there's more to it than that. What do you bring to game day when you're speaking to a group of executives?
3 things. I inspire, I educate, and I motivate. In that order. Working in corporate over the years, I've found that people, they get kind of worn down, and they get into their rut. They get into their groove, and they don't like to be pushed out of their groove. And so, one of the first things I have to do is that I have to inspire them to bring them out, or be willing, or be permeable to receive this type of education. And I gently antagonize them. So you know what? There's a better way. And I pique that curiosity. I inspire that curiosity. And then I educate from a whole new different perspective, not from the just law school book and not from what the teacher taught you in college, not best practices. I'm bringing earth-changing strategies, not only from the NFL, but I'm also bringing it from being a business owner, experiences. And like, you know what? Infuse this. And I pay attention to other success stories as well. Like, infuse this into your culture. Infuse that into your culture. Try it. Bring out something new. Bring out a challenge. Look at obstacles in a whole new different light. Look at them as opportunities. Change your wording, change your language. If you change your language, you can change your culture. And if you can change your culture, then you can change results and motivation. And then, as I mentioned last word, or the last word is the motivation. That you know what, you can do it this way. If I can do it, you can do it. So I bring those 3 words in there. And we just sit back and we expect changes and we watch for the changes. Weeks to come, years to come.
When you work with executives in your own company and other companies where you go to speak, what do you wish executives understood differently, or what mindset do you wish you would see them change?
I like to coach with executives. I don't like to speak to executives in a crowd. Sometimes they have to have a certain, persona about themselves, but I would love to, and I have have had opportunities to challenge them to see it from a holistic perspective. See the organization not as a company, but as a living organism. And that whatever happens on one side of the organization directly affects it either instantly or over time the other side of the organization. And how you can get in and to be able to do little things to tweak your organism to take it to a whole new level, directly, but more importantly, indirectly. Putting yourself, like example, a good example is when they have movies like, or shows like The Undercover Boss. When he or she goes into the organism and he sees it from a whole new different perspective, it's mind-boggling, it's humbling to see their struggles from that perspective, or to see the pain, or to see the processes that have been developed, versus looking at the numbers and the projections from your corporate suite. You use it from a different perspective, I think you can get a lot done faster and a lot done better. To be able to take what you are and infuse it into the organization directly, a direct like IV, versus having it trickle down to your leadership, to your management, to your a lot's lost. Some of the greatest organizations would make sure that their values were directly infused into the workers. When I do research on Walmart, or do research on Ray Kroc and McDonald's, and when I do research on Google, and when I do research on some of the most successful companies, is that the middlemen, if I can use the word man and woman, is extracted, and the values and the beliefs of the leadership at the very top is directly infused into the working. Cool. I love that.
That's awesome. That actually leads right into my next question. What do you wish that, thinking about when you were, as you've been leading your own employees and when you've gone into other organizations, what do you wish that the employees, the rank and file, the people who are customer facing, the people at every level, what do you wish they understood differently about the C-level and about leadership in a corporation?
I think the best way to answer that question would describe an NFL team making a tough decision. Let's say that they had to let go of a great quarterback. No teams mentioned. The fans see it from one perspective. The coaches see it from a different perspective. And they react according to what they see. The fans are like, you know what, this is a great guy. He's built a team for 12, 13 years. How could you? I hate you, ownership, The coach is like, you're gonna make my job so horrible, it's hard, and then you have the general manager's perspective, then you have the owner's perspective. Then and the owner is making decisions based off of a wealth of information and projections, because he's responsible for the W. 10, 12 years from now, 20 years from now, he's responsible. He's already 3 quarterbacks beyond that quarterback in his thinking. But all you see is the next game. And so I wish people in a managerial or someone who is not a manager, I wish they were able to have empathy and sympathy. Say, you know what, I don't understand the decision that they just made, but they're making that decision based off of information that I will never have, that I will never see. So that's what I wish. That they'll say, you know what, I don't understand what you just did, but I have to respect it. When I played football, I was like, why are they running this play? Why are they running a dive when we're down by 3 touchdowns? But the coordinator's in the box. He sees the strong safety sneaking up, and he's trying to trap that strong safety so that the tight end can go over the top and get 7 points. All I see is 5 feet in front of me. So at that point, I gotta take a step back and say, I respect what you're doing. I don't understand it, but I respect you because of what you're gathering information from. Yeah.
All right. We've had some inspiration. We've had some education. let's give the people that are watching this today some motivation. What can they take forward? How do they go out of watching this video today? How do they go make a difference for their home team?
Simple. I can soon learn to do it if you let me see it done. I can watch your hand in motion, but your tongue too fast may run. Before they buy into the new practices and new ideas, they have to buy into you. And so you have to set the trend. You have to set the example. You have to change first. You have to make them scratch their heads and what is it different about this individual? Why is he the first one to get here and the last one to leave? Why is everything that he's saying is congruent with his new beliefs and values? And when they see it exude from you, it is like Wi-Fi, and it will transcend throughout your entire organization without you saying a word. Shut your mouth and put your money where your mouth is, and you roll up your sleeves and you do it. The ones that gather are the ones you keep. The ones that run are the ones you let go.
Powerful words today.
Thank you.
My guest, former NFL offensive lineman, business owner, successful businessman, Mr. Shawn Harper. Thank you so much for taking the time.
Thank you.
For Jan Potgieter Associates, thank you for watching today.
Bye.